Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We're going to recap week 4 of the NFL. We're going to look ahead to week 5, and we're going to talk about the Guardians, and we'll look ahead to this week's Buckeyes game because they're coming off after their win against Washington last week. And we'll get to all that, but first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. And this one is a Lions trivia question. It was Brown's opponent last week. Who was the only Lions quarterback to pass for 300 yards in a game during the entire 1994 season? I'll have the answer later on the podcast. Well, we're going to start with the Browns in week 4. Unfortunately, Jared Goff's connection with Amon-Ra St. Brown is so good it helped the Detroit Lions overcome a relatively lackluster game on offense to rout the Cleveland Browns, and it was a 34-10 for their third straight victory. The Lions go to 2-2. The Browns fall to 1-3. Goff threw 2 touchdown passes to St. Brown. Caliph Raymond returned a punt 65 yards for another score, and the Lions beat the Cleveland Browns 34-10 on Sunday. Goff was 16 of 27 for 168 yards with a 2-yard touchdown pass to St. Brown late in the first half and an 8-yard toss to him in the fourth quarter, giving the All-Pro receiver 6 touchdown receptions in the last 3 games. That will always be a security blanket, Detroit coach Dan Campbell said. Those 2 guys, the rapport and connection they have is special. Goff also threw an interception coming up short on a deep pass to Jameson Williams and had season lows in yards passing completion percentage. We can be so much better, especially offensively, Goff said. Cleveland, which is averaging 14 points a game, would love to have one of Detroit's subpar games on offense. The Lions are now 3-1, intercepted Joe Flacco twice in the first half, scored 20 straight points for a 13-point lead at halftime. Detroit forced Flacco to fumble in the fourth, setting up another touchdown to convert 3 turnovers into 17 points. The Browns, who have now fallen to 1-3, opened with an 88-yard, 13-play touchdown drive, then had 44 yards with 3 punts and 2 turnovers. The rest of the half, they finished with 249 yards of offense, getting an average of 3.8 yards per play. We did too many things that you can't do if you want to beat a good team on the road, Coach Kevin Stefanski said. We obviously have to clean these things up, Flacco started strong before struggling and finishing 16 of 34 for 184 yards with 3 turnovers. Rookie Dillon Gabriel a 3rd-round pick replaced Flacco late in the game. That first reception was one on me, Flacco said. I didn't read their coverage correctly, and I threw it to the wrong spot. It is really frustrating to make a mental mistake like that. Quinshon Judkins had 21 carries for 82 yards and a 1-yard scoring run that gave the Browns a short-lived lead in the first quarter. The Lions pulled into a tie on the ensuing possession after Jahmyr Gibbs scored on an 8-yard run. Jake Bates kicked a 48 and 58-yard field goals in the first half to give Detroit a 20-7 lead. Cleveland got within 10 points on Andre Schmidt's 33-yard field goal midway through the third quarter, and its stingy defense kept the score close, but until Raymond's punt return early in the fourth and St. Brown's second scoring catch helped make the score lopsided. And Gibbs finished with 15 carries for 91 yards, outgaining team totals for each of the Browns' first three opponents. And Detroit's Aiden Hutchinson had a sack for a third straight game and forced a fumble for the second time in less than a week, including a win last Monday night in Baltimore. He has 11 and a half sacks in 9 games, dating to the 2024 season that was cut short by a broken leg. I feel like I am in a good spot, just going to continue to stack game, Hutchinson said. Now, we did have some injuries. Browns offensive tackle Jack Conklin had an elbow injury and was inactive last week. And with offensive tackle DeJuan Jones out with a season-ending knee injury, Flacco faced a lot of pressure. Wide receiver Cedric Tillman had a hamstring injury, left the game in the first half. Lions quarterback DJ Reed had a hamstring, was carted off the field with the second half. In the second half, quarterback Terran Arnold had a shoulder injury, and special teams player Jacob Saylor's had a hamstring injury, was also hurt during the game. Campbell expects Reed to miss at least a game, adding he doesn't think Arnold's alignment is serious. And next week, the Browns are in London to go up against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Lions will play at Cincinnati next Sunday. Well, unfortunately, I cannot give the game balls to the Browns this time for week 4. I have to give them to the Lions. Jared Goff, 16 of 27, 168 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 attempts, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, Flacco had 2 interceptions, but he was 16 of 34 for 184 yards. Quinshon Judkins, 21 attempts, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. And Isaiah Bond, 3 receptions and 58 yards. But now with the Browns going up against Minnesota, they did make an announcement today. And that announcement is that Dillon Gabriel will start quarterback for the Browns this week, as they have benched Joe Flacco. So we'll see. Can Dillon Gabriel go the entire game? Because they feel that Sanders is not ready yet. So we'll see. And they really need to not have any turnovers and very few penalties. And the defense needs to step it up because they have been good going into this game. And the offense needs to keep up their game. They had a good game. And special teams needs to really step it up, but they need to not leave guys wide open. They can't leave players wide open like that. And they've got to put at least 20 points on the board. So we'll see what happens this week. And we will get to the NFL scoreboard from last week in just a moment. But right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Who was the only Lions quarterback to pass for 300 yards in a game during the entire 1994 season? If you said Dave Kirby, you are correct. Dave Craig, excuse me, you are correct. If you said Dave Craig, not Dave Kirby, Dave Craig, you are correct. Craig passed for 351 yards against Buffalo, the Lions' first QB to pass for 300 yards in a game since Eric Kramer, 304 yards in 1992. And now we'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. All right. Now for the scoreboard from last week, from week 4. Back last Thursday night, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium in Arizona, 23-20. And I give the game ball to Sam Darnold. And although Arizona was behind, Manitoba did make a game of it, but wasn't able to get over that hurdle. And I took Seattle and won, and so did my brother, and he took the Cardinals and lost. So I already have one win with me on my side. So, and the game in Dublin, Ireland at 9:30 a.m. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Minnesota Vikings, who have been struggling, 24-21. And I give the game ball to Aaron Rodgers and T.J. Watt. And I have took Pittsburgh and won, and so did no, my brother took the Vikings and he lost. The Buffalo Bills held on to beat the New Orleans Saints 31-19 at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. And I took Buffalo and won, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He took that one and won. You already know the Browns lost 34-10. I took the Browns and I lost on that one. However, my brother-in-law took the Lions and he won. So, and it's just a bad loss an embarrassing loss for the Tennessee Titans as they fall to 0-4. The worst team in the NFL was shut out by the Houston Texans, 26-0 on their home field at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And I took Houston and won, and so did my brother-in-law. He took the Texans. The Carolina Panthers fall to the New England Patriots, who walloped them 42-13 at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. I took New England and I won, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. The Los Angeles Chargers almost pulled it out, but were not able to. They were beat by the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, 21-18. And they had started their quarterback they took in the draft, and he had a phenomenal game. I took the Chargers and lost. So did my brother-in-law. He lost too. And the two unbeaten teams, the Philadelphia, and I give the game ball to the Giants quarterback before I get to that other game that I was talking about. Uh-oh. Before I can give the game ball, they started Jackson Dart, the quarterback. Then they took in the draft, and I give it to Scatabo and Dalen Satan. I give the game balls to them. The two unbeaten teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Philadelphia held on to beat them 31-25. Philly goes to 4-0, and Tampa Bay falls to 3-1. I give the game ball to Jalen Hurts, and I took Philadelphia and won, and my brother-in-law took Tampa Bay, and he lost on that one. And the Los Angeles Rams went on to beat the Indianapolis Colts 27-20 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. I took Indianapolis and lost. My brother-in-law took the Rams and won. And won a big upset in San Francisco. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the San Francisco 49ers 26-21. I give the game ball to Trevor Lawrence. And but San Francisco has injuries, and one of them being Brock Purdy. But the Jacksonville beat them, and I took 49ers and lost, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, the Kansas City Chiefs wall up the Baltimore Ravens 37-20. And I took Baltimore and lost. My brother-in-law took the Chiefs. He won on that one. And another upset, the Chicago Bears beat the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, 25-24 by 1. And I got to give the game ball to Caleb Williams. And I took the Bears and one. My brother-in-law took the Bears as well. And the Sunday night football game, the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys in overtime. Both teams had a chance, but neither could capitalize on it. It ends in a tie in overtime, 40-40. And I took Green Bay, and so did my brother-in-law, but it ends in a tie. And the Monday night games rounding out week 4. The Miami Dolphins beat the New York Jets at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, 27 to 21 to get their first win of the season. And the Jets fall to, I think, 0-4. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they were all got walloped because they got some injuries. They got walloped by the Denver Broncos, 28-3. I give the game ball to Bo Nix. And I took Miami in one, and I took Denver in one. So did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle, and I lost. I was 9-6-1 in my picks. My brother-in-law was 10-5-1. So, although it was not a good week for me in the picks, my first non-double-digit week, although it wasn't too bad. So, and we're gonna look ahead to week 5 of the NFL. The games and the bye weeks start this week. Week 5 kicks off Thursday night with the San Francisco 49ers playing the LA Rams at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Then we get to the Sunday games. 9:30 a.m. The Browns are in London, London, England, to take on the Minnesota Vikings. And the Houston Texans are in Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is injured, so they will have another quarterback starting. The Miami Dolphins will be at Bank of America Stadium in Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Las Vegas Raiders will be in Indianapolis to take on the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. The New York Giants will be at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. The Dallas Cowboys will be at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the Jets. The Denver Broncos will be in Philadelphia to take on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. The Tennessee Titans will be in State Farm Stadium in Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Now we're getting to the late afternoon games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be in Seattle at Lumen Field to take on the Seahawks. The Detroit Lions will be in Cincinnati at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Washington Commanders will be at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood to take on the LA Chargers. That completes the late afternoon game. The Sunday night game. The New England Patriots will be at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. And rounding out Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs will be at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are all on a bye week this week. So that's what week 5 looks like for this week. Right and now, I want to get into some Browns news right now. Excuse me. And as you know, you may have heard this a little bit earlier today. The hold on a minute. The Browns made an announcement today. The Browns are expected to bench veteran quarterback Joe Flacco and start rookie Dylan Gabriel moving forward, beginning with Sunday's overseas game against Minnesota. Sources tell CBS Sports and all the Cleveland sports media here. The change comes shortly after Coach Kevin Stefanski sidestepped questions about potentially changing quarterbacks following Week 4's 34-10 loss to the Lions that dropped Cleveland to 1-3 for the 2025 season. Gabriel's first start will be in Week 5 when the Browns face the Vikings in London. He will be the first quarterback to make his first NFL start outside the United States, according to CBS Research. The Browns are yet to score more than 17 points in a game this season. Out of 33 qualifying quarterbacks, Flacco ranks last in the NFL in passer rating 60.3, completion rate 58.1%, and yards per attempt 5.1, and 31st in expected points added per play 0.31. His 6 interceptions are the second most picks by a quarterback in the league. Only the Titans have scored fewer points than the Browns this season. Gabriel, the Browns are turning to a rookie, but one who has played plenty of football. Gabriel, 24, played 6 years in college at UCF, 2019 to 2021, and Oklahoma in 2022-23, and Oregon in 2024. He finished third in 2024 Heisman Trophy voting and led the Ducks to the college football playoffs, #1 overall seed. Gabriel's 189 touchdowns, uh, according for pass rushing and receiving, are the most in FBS history, and his 63 career starts are most by a quarterback in FBS history. Cleveland selected Gabriel in the third round, the 94th, 94th overall in the 2025 NFL draft, and and uh, and Shedeur Sanders was 144th overall, and they joined the quarterback room. They eventually swelled to 5 players on the active roster with Flacco, Kirby Pickett, and Tyler Huntley, and the Browns also have Watson on the reserve, physically unable to perform list. So, but that's just basically going to start Dillon Gabriel at quarterback this week, and the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes will take on the Minnesota State Screaming Eagles this Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and that will be at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. And you can catch that game on and kind of well, it's saying FBS 1, but it'll probably be on it'll be on NBC. It'll be on. That's what it'll be on to see it on TV. It'll be on NBC Saturday night. So we'll see. And Ryan Day says the Buckeyes are ready for this game, and they're trying to improve things each week. So, and now moving over to the Guardians, we'll do this quickly. Unfortunately, the Guardians fell 2-1 today in Game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series. Jose got to third in the ninth, but was called out trying to slide into home, and they tried to score 2 runs in the ninth, but it just did not happen. They popped out, so they fighting for their lives to keep their season alive tomorrow. Uh, and that will be at 108, and that will be on ESPN. And and so and so and Tanner Bybee will be on the mound for the Guardians tomorrow. So we'll see what happens in that game. But Well, I don't have time to do the Major League scoreboard, but for today's Wild Cards, but there were quite a few. But that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back with another podcast this Sunday or next week. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.